Once you prepare all the upstream operation, it is equally important to perform the downstream operations very carefully. Because once the product is produced, it is very important to purify the product in its highest quality and purity. If you miss out any of the downstream operation, you are not going to get the product in its good form. So how to get the product in a pure form, in a purified form? So first of all, you should understand the different downstream operations. What are the different downstream operations that can be carried out to purify the product? Once the production is complete, process is complete, process can last for 72 hours, 3 days, 4 days, could be anything depending upon what product you are producing. Right? The time of the production process might vary. Before understanding what are the different downstream operations you have to carry out to purify the product, let us first see the simple layout of different downstream unit operations. Okay, on what are the different types of unit operations that can be carried out to purify a product. Fine. The first downstream operation that will be carried out is removal of insolubles. Removal of insolubles. What is the removal of insoluble? Removal of insoluble means removing the insoluble component from the production broth or from the fermented broth. What are the different techniques that can be used to remove insoluble components? You can use either filtration, you can use sedimentation, or you can use centrifugation. So all the three methods are the method of removal of insolubles. Through all the three methods, you can remove the insoluble component from the fermented broth. What should be the choice of selection of these three techniques? When I have to use filtration, when I have to use sedimentation, and when I can use centrifugation? Very important to know the selection method. I cannot use all the three techniques because it will not be economical. Okay, depending upon the process, depending upon the material which is suspended, I have to choose one of the techniques. Isn't it? So, if the material which I want to remove is very heavier and has high density, I can directly go for sedimentation technique, because sedimentation is a method of removal of insoluble through natural gravity, settling natural gravitational force. The materials which are suspended will settle because of high density. Okay, so sedimentation can be employed when the particles are larger in size and they have high density. When sedimentation is inefficient, or when you cannot use sedimentation to remove the all insoluble materials, I can go for filtration. Because sedimentation can remove the larger size particles, but smaller size and the finer size particles will be difficult to remove. So at that time, my sedimentation will fail, because it can remove only larger size particles. Smaller size particle will be difficult to be removed. So I have to go for filtration. So in filtration, I will be using filter aids like membranes or filter medium, filter cloth to separate the larger as well as finer particles. This is the technique which is used most of the time in wastewater treatment process. There you are using grids which are acting as filter aid. So these will screen the larger size particles as well as finer size particles and allow only the liquid to pass through it. Isn't it? So filter aid would be used to remove the larger as well as finer size particles, and it will only allow liquid to pass through it. Fine. When filtration and sedimentation fails, that time you have to use centrifugation. Centrifugation is used to remove again particles based on their density. Okay, based on the density. Filtration and sedimentation is used only based on their size. Okay, based on their size. So they will screen out all these large size as well as fine size particles. But centrifugation will help you to remove the particles based on the density gradient. Okay, based on density gradient. Like in routine activity, you will do the centrifugation of blood sample. When you do the centrifugation of blood sample, what is that you are going to get? What are the fractions in which it is going to get separated? You will get three basic fractions. First one is the erythrocytes, which are high in density, they will settle at the bottom, that is RBCs. Above that, you will have a thin buffy coat which is known as leukocytes or platelets, WBCs, and above that you will have a plasma which is the lightest one. Okay, so in this way you are going to separate the whole blood into its individual components based on the density. Okay. The same way centrifugation will be used to separate particles from the liquid based on the density. Fine. And what is a plasma? Plasma is the liquid component of the blood which holds the solid particles. Okay, it's a yellow color liquid which holds the whole blood. Fine. It's a liquid part of the blood. Is it clear? And what are the solid parts of the blood? RBC, WBC, leukocytes. All these are solid parts of the blood which are suspended. Erythrocytes forms 55% of the whole blood, while plasma forms 45% of the whole blood, and rest of the part is formed by leukocytes and platelets. It will be less than 1% around. Okay. So centrifugation is used for separating solid components based on the density. So once you separate solid components, what do? You take out the liquid part, isn't it? You get only liquid part. So liquid part will be taken for the further processing. So what are the further processing steps? So the further processing steps consist of isolation of product. Isolation of product. So you have to isolate the product and remove the other undesired components. What is the method that can be used for isolation of product? Suppose your product is protein. Example, if your product is protein, so how can you recover only proteins and remove other components from a cell? Precipitation. Precipitation can be used to recover only protein components. Suppose you are having a yeast cell, you want to recover only proteins from the yeast cell and you want to remove the other components like ribosomes, RNA, okay, or cell debris. If you want to eliminate other components and you want to recover only protein components, you have to use protein precipitation method. So protein precipitation can be done either by solvent or by salt. So there are two methods: solvent precipitation and salt precipitation. Salts like ammonium sulfates, potassium sulfates, salts of sulfates, phosphates and nitrates can be used to precipitate the protein. Fine. You can recover the protein component and you can eliminate the other non-protein components. Fine. So isolation of product is the next step. After isolation of product, you have to go for product enrichment. Product enrichment. What do you mean by product enrichment method? Product enrichment means you are basically enriching the product. Let's take an example. If you are precipitating the proteins in the proteins, okay, there can be chance that water is also there. Water is also there along with the protein. Protein has hold the water. So you have to remove only the protein components. So you are going to enrich the proteins. So only proteins are getting enriched and smaller other components of similar size are eliminated. Because along with protein, other materials can also come out which are similar in characteristics and properties of protein. Techniques like extraction can be used to enrich the protein components. There are different types of extraction like solvent extraction, aqueous two-phase extraction that can be used to extract the product. Fine. After enrichment of the product, the next step is product purification. Product purification means you are purifying a certain type of protein from the mixture of proteins. In the protein mixture, you might be interested in only particular type of protein and you don't want other type of proteins, because here you are getting only proteins which is a mixture of different types of protein. Your desired protein is present in the mixture, so you want to purify the protein. So how can you recover? How can you purify a protein? You can purify the protein by chromatographic separation. Chromatographic separation. Isn't it? You can use chromatographic separation technique to purify a particular type of protein from the mixture of proteins. Okay, so there are different chromatographic separation techniques like gas chromatography, liquid chromatography, column chromatography. So any of the chromatography could be opted based upon the physical, chemical and biological nature of the protein. depending upon the properties of the protein that you want to purify. Based on that, you have to opt for a suitable chromatography method. Is it clear? If you are separating based on the size, you can use gel permeation chromatography. If you are separating protein based on the charge, you have to use ion exchange chromatography. Based on certain affinity, if you want to purify a protein, you have to use affinity chromatography. Is it? Based on certain properties. So you should know the properties and characteristics of the isolated molecule. Then only you can choose a particular chromatographic separation technique. Once you purify the product, once you get the purified protein, you have to go for next step, which is polishing, product polishing. So once you isolate the product, you enrich the product, purify the product, next step is polishing of the product. Why polishing is important? Because consumer might like to have the product in a certain form. Either it could be a powdered form, it could be in a liquid form, it could be in a granule form, it could be in a tablet form, isn't it? There is a different requirement of the consumer. Okay, depending upon the requirement of the consumer, you will give a particular shape, size, form to the product. So all these techniques comes under product polishing. Like, what are the different unit operations that comes under product polishing? Techniques like drying. That means you are eliminating the moisture content from the product, and you are going to give only appropriate required amount of moisture in the product. You are drying the excess amount of moisture from the product. Fine. So drying is one technique. Then crystallization. You are producing the product in the form of crystals. Fine. Next, powdering. You can freeze dry a product. Okay, by lyophilization technique. By using lyophilization technique, you can freeze dry a product. So the product will be in the form of powders. Another technique is extrusion. Extrusion. What is extrusion? Extrusion is the technique where you are going to give a proper shape to the product. Like noodles, they are in a form of a thin cylindrical form. So extrusion, powdering, crystallization, drying, all these are product polishing techniques. Once product polishing is over, you can have additional steps which also known as polishing only, but that will remove any kind of microbes from the product. Example, depyrogenation technique. Depyrogenation means removal of any component which are able to elicit fever in the consumers, like bacterial toxins or viruses. You are just going to remove these pyrogenation materials. Pyrogenation means, pyro means heat. Anything which is capable of causing fever in the patients, in the consumers, all these materials like bacteria and viruses will be eliminated from the products. Right? This is the additional step which will be carried out in the case of tablets, injectables. So in these products like medicine, it will be carried out. Fine. In food products and all, it will be rarely carried out. Fine. So depyrogenation is the additional step which will be carried out in the case of injectables, medicines and tablets. Right. Once polishing is over, you are going to transport the so that it reach the consumer like you, me and us. Transportation is a very important step because based upon the product, the transportation facility has to be adapted. Transportation should not be done to a very longer distance because there is a chance that it might get contaminated over the journey. Fine. Especially perishable food items like milk, curd, paneer. If these are transported to a longer distance in a refrigeration condition only, it has to be transported in the transportation. So transportation vehicle should have all these facilities of AC. Then only your product will be reaching with highest quality and purity.
Thank you for watching B for Biotech. If you have liked this video, please share it with your friends. If you are new to my channel, subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to receive the notification of the new videos.